Yeah, so it's originally ACES, which is the American Indigenous Science and Engineering Society. So it's an American nonprofit. It's meant to bring together Indigenous people in STEM fields of science, technology, engineering, and math. The main focus is usually national conferences and leadership summits. So even like this year, for example, it's going to be online due to the pandemic. But usually it'd be an in-person conference somewhere in the US, and companies that are looking for Indigenous students, either in internships or full-time jobs, go there. High school students can also attend. And it's all about, I guess, bringing a bunch of people who are not always thought of as STEM people all together to kind of like share experiences and share their stories with each other. So at Queen's, we started a chapter in line with that. So we coordinate the Canadian conference that usually happens in February or March of each year. And this year, I guess in 2021, it's also going to be virtual. But it's all about still the same kind of focus of connecting Indigenous students in STEM across Canada and kind of giving them a voice when I guess Indigenous peoples aren't really thought of or are not really well established in engineering and science. I think it provides like a different perspective in the sense. I mean, even for myself, the reason I kind of got into engineering in the first place was because I always associated engineering with kind of helping people, and even now there are a lot of Indigenous reserves that don't have like clean drinking water. So it's those types of things where Queen students and at QAISES kind of bring a different perspective to those types of issues, and they're kind of a little bit more familiar with that. So I think that's the biggest thing that it offers to the faculty and to the institution, is just a different perspective. And I mean, and even in any like organization or club or whatever, I mean, better decisions and more sound like decision making comes from people with different experiences and backgrounds and perspectives. So
Yeah.
that's kind of what yeah, the Aboriginal Access to Engineering offers. So like I said, the biggest thing is the conferences. Like I said, it's gonna be different because it's the virtual sort of thing. So this past February, Queens had like 6 or 7 kids go to Saskatchewan for the Canadian conference. So that's also what QAISES has. But this year it's going to be virtual, so there's not really any traveling. And usually we would have some sort of outreach in QAISES. So going to like high schools and elementary schools and kind of, I guess, showing Indigenous students at a really young age that engineering is a career worth pursuing, because it's like I said, it's not it's not a massive Indigenous population STEM fields. So just going to science fairs is something that people in the club have done in the past, and judging those science fairs at elementary and middle schools and high schools, trying to excite young kids about going to engineering. So those two are the main things. In regards to this year, it's going to be difficult just because it is virtual.
Yeah.
But I would say probably trying to do a variation of those things as best as we can. Generally, I mean, what's happened over the past um, maybe like over a year between what happened at Chown Hall and the incident about other like racist and um, I get really inappropriate comments towards um, the Indigenous community, and having stuff happen at Four Directions with the flags being torn down and stuff. And especially now, in a world where obviously a lot of things need to change. Um, and Queens is no different from that. I mean, they've taken a lot of steps, which is really great. It's important. But it's just about continuing to just really have, like, I guess, respect, and everyone's different, and they have their own experiences and they come from different backgrounds, but it's important that, I mean, and at the end of the day, all of us are just, we're people, we're humans, we're students. You know, we go through the highs and lows of everyday life. So just kind of being respectful of one another. And I mean, we're all here for, you know, get an education, meet tons of different great people from all over the world. And, you know, every day, even every day I get to meet someone new and learn something new. And that's really all that we're here for. So just, I guess, kind of having that in the back of your mind, that it's just all about respect. And, you know, Queens is a family and it's a community, and everyone should be treated with the utmost respect and uplifted rather than torn down. The dean has been great, either if it's, I don't know if he's involved in funding or whatever, but even just the support. He's been great. He's said, if, you know, if any of us need anything, or especially, I guess, first year and second year students specifically, just because of what's recently happened. But he's been great. He's been there for support. In regards to the faculty, I think it's just continuing to have a conversation about how meaningful it is that Queens has one of the largest, if not the largest, amount of Indigenous engineering students in Canada. And like I said before, it's great to have a bunch of different perspectives and have a bunch of students with those perspectives, and that's what Queens has done exceptionally well, and arguably the best in Canada, really, having undergraduate students who are Indigenous. So it's continuing to have a conversation about how important and meaningful it is to have these types of students in the program and what they contribute to Queen's engineering as a whole. I guess maybe more like awareness of, I guess maybe like the Four Directions Center. I mean, if people, because even for me, like sometimes I've gotten questions about people just don't really know that it exists, really, right?
I
Yeah,
didn't know.
yeah, but it's totally fine.
Yeah.
But it's just maybe creating more awareness about the services offered on campus, or if students, even if they're not Indigenous, if they just want to learn more and are curious about anything, that there's a place to learn on campus for it. So I'm just creating, I guess, more awareness about the program, because really what Queens has done for Indigenous engineering is something that should be definitely be applauded. So just recognizing that is important. So yeah, maybe just more awareness. I guess getting the word out more about, if people are curious about anything in regards to Indigenous people, background,